Welcome to the story of every man. Tonight we have some special guests. We have Genesis Castanon and Kim Castanon.
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Were both of you born in the U.S. or were you born not in the U.S.?
I had the privilege to be born here.
Yep.
No, I didn't. So if there's anybody out there, no, I'm playing.
Any white men?
That wants to give me a green card. No, I'm kidding. You for $20K, guys.
Posting all things Longview. Your baby.
And I don't know you guys really that well. My extent of knowledge of you guys is whenever we went to your house.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the occasion, but maybe it was somebody's birthday.
Christmas.
Was
No,
it?
It was cold. I think.
It was like a holiday.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, maybe.
Were both of you there?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, we were both there.
Yeah. And eating ceviche.
Yeah.
That was.
So it must have been hot then. Because I don't think we eat ceviche when it's cold. Well, I don't know.
Okay. In my experience online, is you guys have such a good chemistry in how you communicate. I was like, I wonder what it's like to have them in person together.
Oh,
it's gonna be a challenge, right?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. We're gonna see.
I think we can bounce off each other pretty well, though.
Yeah. I don't know about us, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, Kim's a lot more awkward than
She
I
is?
am.
Yes.
Yeah, she's really shy.
I never leave the house, so I'm always like talking
Is
to
it outing
myself.
for her?
So, which one of you is older? Okay.
We're 13
years apart.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm 18. I turned 18 in May.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and Kim's 31.
18, 31, and then Lewis is 38.
30.
39?
Turning 39.
Are you serious? He's 39.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're all like so far apart.
He actually looks young for that
Yeah.
age.
Me and him are 20 years apart.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, he's old. I said he was 40 the other day, and he was like, I'm 38. I'm like, well, you're almost there.
Yeah, you're almost 39. Basically, almost 40.
I did not realize that. He looks pretty good for his age.
Oh, Peppy.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you where were you born?
Mexico, Tampico, Tamaulipas.
Okay. And where were you born?
Here, Longview, Texas.
Longview, Texas? This is your home alma mater.
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to Ware Elementary, went to Longview.
For like a day.
Yeah, I went to Longview, Pine Tree, and then I was private schooled, and then I was
Uh-huh.
online schooled, so I got everything.
Where did you go to school at?
I graduated from Longview,
Is-
Lobos.
okay. What other cities do you remember ever being in other than Longview?
Just here. I don't think. We came. When we got here from Mexico, I was a year old. So I've been raised here my whole life. So it's pretty much like I'm from here.
Okay. Did you know English or did you have to learn it?
No, I think I learned it in in first grade.
Okay.
I mean, I still struggle with it sometimes, and she gives me a hard time.
Yeah, we try to get her to say height. She says height instead of height.
There's just some words that I still struggle with, and I'm like,
Thumbtacks.
John teaches me all the bad Spanish.
You have exceptional English for that. For
Well,
you to
thank
say that
you.
you don't speak it that well.
there's a few words I struggle with, but it's.
That's cool. Growing up, or do you remember anything growing up that was a struggle or something you had to deal with in terms of being an immigrant or a child of immigrant parents?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever had problems in school or anything like that I got made fun of over that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think not that I remember.
Did you
I mean, we did struggle because, we always tell her that she got the better life that me and my brother did.
Okay.
Because, there was times where we didn't have money, where we didn't have this.
Yeah.
But she got all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So she didn't get to live, what me and my brother did. So we always tell her that she's a spoiled one.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before, because I was like, it's good that you're coming because you have more of a story than I do, because I was a lucky one.
Yeah.
I was born here, after my parents got good jobs and stuff. I got everything I wanted. They were old enough to get me all the gifts and stuff, and when Kim would work, she'd spoil me all the time. So
Not anymore.
now I spoil her.
Well, why did you want to be on the podcast?
Because I like to talk. I'll never turn down an
Yeah.
opportunity to talk.
Okay.
And I like being asked questions and having a big conversation.
Me and Matt talk a lot. I never thought I would have a conversation with a person like Matt. He's very logical, shares a lot about a lot of things, and I really love to listen to him and challenge some of the things he says, because I like that too. I like the challenging conversations. And there's a difference between a conversation and an argument. And I think that's one of the cool things that I'm expecting to get out of you is a conversation instead of an argument. Does that make sense? Right. So my first question is, are either of you married?
No.
I was. I think it was in 2018, and it only lasted maybe about a year. When you're in love, you're all, oh, everything's perfect. And
Yeah. So here's a question. Like, I even asked this earlier online. What's the difference between being in love and loving someone?
Mm.
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
Yeah.
John, I love you.
Wait, do you want to answer? Or
I mean, we
Are
can
you
just stare at
asking
each
us to
other, but I was
well,
hoping we could get answers.
I feel like, well, when you look at it from a biblical standpoint,
Uh-huh.
love is more so an action over a feeling.
Okay.
So being in love, I think, is all the honeymoon phase. Like, they give you the butterflies every time y'all text, and you want to be around them all the time. And I mean, I'm not married, but I've been with my boyfriend for almost 5 years, and I liked to hang out with him every single second when we were first together. And now I'm like, okay, I could use some time to myself. But it's like, I saw a TikTok. I'm a Gen Z, so that's how I portray everything. But it was like a girlfriend. She wanted crawfish. The boyfriend wanted tacos. They played rock, paper, scissors. He won, and they got crawfish.
Okay.
So it's like being able to set aside what you want and lay yourself down for the person you love. So
Okay. How versed are you biblically or in your religion?
I think I'm pretty deep in my walk with God, yeah. I lead like worship nights for young adults and stuff, and I like to get up there, share little verses, lead worship here and there. It's not my expertise, but
We'll come back to that. What about you, ma'am? I'm curious about you.
About what?
So, what's the difference in being in love and just loving someone?
I don't know.
I think
That's a hard question.
yeah. I mean, you were married. I figured you would know.
That was a long time ago.
How long ago was it that you were married?
It was in 2018.
7 years ago almost.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we dated for 4 years, and then we were like, okay, let's take the next step. And I don't know, because I feel like there's a big difference when you're dating someone as when you finally get married. I feel like you get to know the person more than when you're just dating, because you get to, I don't know, my dad always explained this to me. It's like you realize that his feet stink or that he doesn't do this.
Yep.
Opposed that's when y'all were
You live
dating,
together.
everything was like perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a big difference.
Is that what you realized when y'all got married, that his feet stink?
No. No, that was just an example that my dad gave me.
That's
so.
why y'all broke up.
Yeah. So if he's listening to this, that's not true. No, but there was more to that. But
Yeah.
it's just, it's just something that my dad explained to me that I always thought was hilarious.
Yeah. Are you dating anybody?
No.
Really?
So if there's anybody,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I
I'm
kind of
kidding.
feel like you grew up in school, and school was fine. School went well. Did you go to college?
No. 'Cause
Okay.
I worked. My first job was when I was 17.
What was it?
I worked at a barbecue restaurant in Lakeport. It's called Adam's Rib.
Okay.
I think I was there for about 10 years.
Wow, for 10 years.
Yes, so I gave up. I was like, I don't think I want to go to school. I like working. Well, I didn't like school. I think
Okay.
I just graduated just because I had to.
Yeah.
I actually had to pay to graduate. My whole high school year, I think I skipped all year. I hated school.
You bribed somebody?
No. Well, you had to pay to get your credits. They were like, you have to pay this much in order to get your credits for you to graduate. So I was like, bet. Like, I know it sounds bad. And I told my parents, I was like, I'm sorry, but I just, I don't like school. So I didn't want to go to college. And they were like, okay, that's fine. So I just,
You're going to work.
yeah, so I was like, I'll work.
Yeah. You would rather be a stay-at-home mom more than anything.
Yeah. For now.
Yes. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How old is your kid?
He's 6.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. So you graduated. You're 18 years old.
I graduated last year.
Last year. What are your aspirations?
My aspirations is to open up the second Mr. Churros. So my
Okay.
aspiration currently.
So let's talk about some things that you've gone through in life, right? Watching your family. I don't think that you got to see a lot of what, like she said, some of the things that they've had to persevere through.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look back, Genesis, at your family and you see like your parents, how would you describe watching them grow as you watched them grow with two already children that are getting older, and you being a younger child. How would you describe that?
I always thought our dynamic was very cool. I mean, my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom with us. My dad never wanted her to work. He wanted her to be at home with us. So I think that's where Kim gets the whole, like, I have the privilege, you know, because it's a privilege to be able to stay home and raise your kids. But I really like our dynamic. People always think it's weird that we're 20 and 13 years apart, but I like it. I can't imagine if we were closer in age. I feel like it really avoids a lot of conflict, too, because if you're like 14 and 16, you're fighting, you know, about school drama or whatever. But
Over stuff.
yeah, like, you know, she's older than me, and she's like, girl, that's dumb. Like, I've already been through that before. She can kind of slap me in the face like that and be like, I've already lived through this, which is really cool, you know, so I don't have to go out and seek, like, a mentor, because I have a sister that's gone through all of that. But seeing my parents, I guess, just work very hard growing up was very, very cool, because it honestly inspired me to go out and do a lot more than other people my age. So, like, right now I'm running the business just by myself. I mean, I have my family's help, but in the sense of the legal aspect, it's mine. So just seeing my parents, I didn't see them struggle, really. And if they did, they probably kept it from me because I was little. But seeing a hardworking dad, my dad was gone, like, a lot of the day. But it never really hurt or strained our relationship. But he was gone most of the day, you know, just working. I'd always cry when he'd go to the oil field and go work. But it just really shaped me to learn to love work and not fear it, you know, because I think some people just want to be rich. They don't want to work to the point of being rich.
They don't want to do the work to get there.
Yeah.
So you saying that you're gone most of the day as well. So you go into work most of the day, you kind of understand what it was like for him to be out all day.
Yeah, but you can't compare him being in the oil field and I'm just flipping churros, making coffee, sitting on my phone when there's nobody there. So that's the privilege I have, is having a simple job. Yeah,
absolutely. So growing up with, you know, through the deals that you dealt with your brother, what was it watching your family go through those struggles? Did you ever end up in jail?
No.
Okay.
It was just him.
I always tell her these stories about, like, everything we dealt with my brother, and she's like, why can't that stuff happen anymore? And I was like, girl,
I wish I was there.
Yeah,
it just seems so cool.
She's like, that sounds like fun. I was like, no, it didn't. Because, you know, I always watch my parents. You know, my brother, he has changed a lot, and he's, you know, mature a lot compared to how he used to be, that he was just, you know, and watching my mom would always pray over him. Right. Like, anything, like, he would call my mom, like, hey, this, and my mom would pray, and I would always watch, you know, like, her pray, and, you know, like, everything would, you know, like when he went to jail, it was, like, a while back, like,
I don't know if he told that story.
I think he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
That
she
my mom
prayed.
that she was outside praying, and they let him out.
Yeah. So, did you ever see her, like, cry, break down over situations that he was in?
Yeah, I feel like she has suffered with him more than anybody else, and even my dad says that we've probably been, like, the easiest kids over him. And then my dad, when he, you know, came to Christ, like, it changed a lot. Maybe she probably wasn't there to see it, but me and my brother did. Like, my dad he was such a bitter person. Like, I don't know. Well, he had a rough life, so it's, like, understandable for him to grow up and be. But he was, regardless of that, he was, you know, a great dad, a great husband. But he was just, like, very bitter. Like, like, I don't know how to explain.
Not necessarily towards you, but in general.
Yeah, like, like, mad at the world. And, like, during the holidays, like, he didn't want nothing to do with us. Like, he would just go hide in his room and cry.
Oh, wow.
And it would be like, well, why can't Dad be with us on Christmas? Or why can't, you know? So when he came to Christ, like, all of that changed. And we were like, we made fun of him. Because we were like, what did they give you? Did they brainwash you? So we would make fun of him, you know, like me, my mom, and brother. And he was like,
dang, that's hardcore for y'all to sit there.
We were like, the three of us would bully him. No, because it was like a big change. Like, he came home and he was like, hey. And we were like,
who's this dude?
What? Like, what happened? So he was the one that, like pulled us to go to church with him. And my mom was like, all right, I'm going to go one day just to see, like what they gave him or how did they brainwash him. And, she was like, wow. And that's, that was like 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she wasn't born.
That's another privilege.
Yeah.
I got my parents when they were changed.
Yeah.
You didn't get to watch it.
No, hence the name, because I was the first generation.
Yeah, that's
Christian.
why she's named Genesis.
Beginning,
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
And so that's how that came.
But
Okay.
I mean, regardless of that, like my parents were never like abusive or mean, because I feel like that's always like the Hispanic culture. Like you get beat, you get, el cinto, la chancla.
Yeah.
But my parents were never that. Like we've never got.
Never been spanked.
Y'all never got spanked?
No.
Man.
Well,
I got tore up.
That's another topic.
Yeah, I've never
No,
been
we
spanked.
never did. Now I did.
Well, that sucks. I feel like you should have.
I know.
That's what my boyfriend says. He's
Yeah.
like, the way you act sometimes, I wish your parents would have spanked you.
Yes. Well, I did. When I was 15, I did. My dad did backhand me because I talked back to him. I would have done the same. So it was good.
Girl, they gonna call CPS.
I know. So that was the only time, and I went crying to my mom, and, she got onto his ass. She was like, you're not supposed to touch the kids. Like, because that's how it is. Like, we never got spankings,
Yeah.
even, like, or, like, me and them, like, as siblings, we've never fought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we probably just argue about, why did you take my charger, or why did you do this?
Yes.
But we never.
My brother takes my chargers all the time.
Yeah.
We went
never-
somewhere,
yeah.
and he was like, can you bring our charger? And I was like, our? I bought it. It's my charger.
That's pretty cool. So when Genesis said, "Hey, do you want to be on the podcast?" What was going through your mind?
I was scared. I was like, I've always said the first time I'm going to be on a podcast, I'm going to get canceled that same day.
Why is that?
But we're
okay.
good.
I guess it depends what he asks us.
Yeah.
Yep. So let me kind of turn a little bit to. I wouldn't necessarily say like super serious, but let's talk about racial issues, right?
Okay.
I was born in Mexico, right? I was brought here when I was 6 months old.
I didn't know that.
I think maybe the biggest racial things that I've encountered was when I was young. As an adult, nobody's really bothered me about it to my face. And I couldn't tell you why, but I do see it occur a lot. And what do you think you're seeing outward? Because I think maybe you guys deal more with the Hispanic community than I do. What does the Hispanic community need to do to progress here in Longview, not the world, but here in Longview? Hard question.
Yeah, that is.
I feel like maybe this is for the whole world, but maybe in Longview. I feel like a lot of Hispanics that come here are scared to learn English.
Okay.
I guess just whether they think they're going to get bullied for having an accent. But it's like the same thing when you see a white person learning Spanish. Like, we think it's cool, like seeing somebody learn a different language. I think that's something that Hispanic people need to get over, that fear of learning English.
It's like her boyfriend. He's getting really good at Spanish, and he's scared.
Escuero?
Yeah. Well, he's
He's half Mexican, but his dad's white. He was born in Ecuador because his parents were missionaries. So the dad speaks fluent Spanish.
Okay.
And so does the mom, but they kept Spanish as like their own private language instead of teaching.
So now that he's learning, he says he's scared to talk to us because we're going to make fun of him. And I will make fun of him. Not that. No, and my mom got on to me. She's like, don't make fun of him. Like, you need to encourage him that he's doing good. And he is. He's getting a lot better.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool because, like, when we be out somewhere, he tries to have a conversation with you in Spanish so the other person will understand.
He feels like he unlocked a whole different level.
So now we can talk crap about people.
Chisme. Yeah.
Remember that day I ordered bastard tacos?
Yeah. Casey bought some headphones that can those that
off TikTok. Don't buy them.
Oh,
that
yes.
translate. He's bought them.
It's an app. You can
I've always wondered if those work.
Yeah.
don't waste your
Because we
money.
go to a restaurant and they speak to me in Spanish, and he wants to know if we're talking about them or not. So he went and bought those, and I don't know if they work or not, but yeah, he still wants to know what we're talking about.
all the time.
Yeah. So
It's basically mainly because you stare at me and speak Spanish.
yeah. Oh man.
I don't know. I've learned to not even gossip in Spanish because I've had some people come into the shop and they don't look like they'd speak Spanish and they start speaking Spanish. I was like, I'm glad I didn't say anything about you because that would have been really embarrassing.
So you grew up, and you just graduated from Longview.
From
Online.
school.
Yeah.
What? Did you ever step into a classroom?
I did a private classroom. Wasn't even real.
For like a day.
Yeah, that's what they say. I'm so privileged because
Dang, you didn't even
Yeah.
have to go to the. You
I
didn't
went
even
to
have to go to
private
the freaking.
school. My parents
What?
got me braces.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
She didn't have to go to school. Well,
Get out of here.
she went to a private school.
Yeah.
Not like us that we had to go to the ghetto.
Yeah. I went to Pine Tree for like a day. Hated it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like privates. LISD is the worst in my opinion.
Yeah. So the reason I ask is, the mother of my daughter, she's white, and she has a master's in Spanish. She speaks better Spanish than you, me, her, and
Oh, wow.
probably 90% of Hispanics you know. That's crazy.
Like formal
What's
Spanish.
your
she has
daughter's
formal Spanish education. She has a master's in it.
name? What's your daughter's name? I feel like I know her.
Carmen Nicole Salos.
Yes, I know her. I
How do
went
you
to
know
school
her?
with her.
You did?
Yes,
You do?
but she was a year younger.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you had a daughter.
My beautiful daughter. Yeah. So her mom, just got an education in that, and so Carmen likes to jack with me about it. Like, well, mom talks better at it than you do. Like, so she wasn't born in Mexico. So
Yeah, you got the experience.
yeah, I got the
Yeah.
experience. Yeah. But she's a lovely young lady. Her mom, and that's done well. But yeah, I think that's pretty amazing because I don't know how to. I self-taught how to read and spell. So you probably have seen me writing stuff online, and I'm like, Carmen gets on there and will correct me and say, "Mom would do better than that." And I'm like, "Oh my God, dude, stop." But
Sometimes trying to cipher your text messages, it's best to just be like,
Yeah.
what were you saying?
yeah, let me tell you, like Casey is quiet. This is the quietest I've seen him.
Really?
The whole time I've known him. Yeah, I think he's intimidated by women. I think maybe.
No, this isn't about me. It's about them.
Oh, we're talking about Mexicans, Hispanic,
I am 100% white.
Spanish.
We'll get to the white in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's just a little bit about. There's a lot that a lot of people don't know about me. It's just I don't share it because nobody asks, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know the crazy.
See, I didn't know
weird
she
stuff.
was your daughter. I thought she was maybe like your niece or something.
Nope, it's my daughter.
Because of the same last name.
Fruit of my loins. I only have two children here. My son and
You got a string.
He's flinching. What do you do to him?
exactly. No empieces. ¿Cómo se porta todo el día?
See,
This dude, man, does not behave. Yeah. So.
you do have a string, though. It's been bothering me.
Oh, dude, why didn't you say?
It's been on there the whole time?
Yeah, that's what I've been
Why didn't y'all say something?
Yeah, exactly. Let
Just
me
put a
drown.
sticker over
I
it.
was
Just
waiting for
Photoshop.
the
Yeah.
right spot to... Sorry.
Oh, they're gonna drag you on All Things Longview.
Oh man.
John Silos has a string on his shirt.
They're
How
gonna say
unprofessional.
Yeah. Close it all down.
Yeah.
Boycott him.
Yeah.
So so tell me something that people should know about you as an individual. Like, what's unique about you? I have the relationship questions that I'm gonna ask here in a minute.
Oh, wow.
Something unique about you.
Something unique about me is that.
I feel like she's gonna tell it before you're gonna tell it.
No.
The only thing unique, I milk it so much, is that I'm 18 and I'm own coffee shop. So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty unique. I
Yeah.
met a Mexican coffee shop.
Okay.
Maybe there's other 18-year-olds with regular coffee shops, but
Yeah.
But I'm Mexican.
Who was the
Okay.
brainchild of this coffee shop?
it was me. My brother had the churro ideas,
Yeah.
and I was basically like, look, if you want to do the churros, I have to do the coffee. If not, I'm not going to support you. Like, that's
Okay.
basically the whole, like,
Yeah.
that's how we made the churro and coffee baby, I guess.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so she left you just high and dry, wanted to go stay home to do it on so you can do it on your own.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
No, she does a lot of stuff
To
that
stay
people
home
don't see.
to stay home and go look for a man.
yes,
Yeah.
online, on Tinder. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
I try to find her a
No.
man at the shop, too, sometimes.
I-
Yeah.
I'm the one that makes the horchata, and then I take care of all their
laundry.
online orders and laundry
You
and
need
Yeah.
a poster picture on the door.
Yeah.
I'll be like, we're out of this. She'll order it.
Yeah.
Like, because she'll do it, and I'll forget.
and I mess up like 99% of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we always make fun of her
So-
for it. But she makes the horchata. She makes all of our stickers. She makes our Mr. Churro shirts.
Can you read?
Barely.
I know how to read, but I don't read instructions. Like I don't. I just like skip through it and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
That's why everything at
So
the
I guess
house
that's
has like
why-
the letters on it, on the, the
Like,
sticker
you know,
letters.
you always have to read like the fine print. I don't read that.
Really?
So I'm just like, whatever.
It works out though.
Oh man.
That's all that matters.
Okay. And I knew. I was. This doesn't have to be like. You don't have to like make it like a serious answer because it's, But if however you want to answer these questions is completely up to you. So one is before, and they made fun of me about how I asked this question. So I'm gonna try to ask this question without messing it up. Right? I want to try to ask this question without messing it up.
Ask it how you asked us.
No.
Do it.
I'm
No.
scared.
Please do it.
Before marriage,
As in your relationship before marriage with the man.
Not a one.
or whatever you desire,
Yeah.
who's most likely to leave first, the guy or the girl, and why?
Oh wow.
That is very complex because I feel like there's a lot of different ways
It's a
That it
simple
could-
answer though.
go.
I feel like the guy.
Yeah, I feel like I typically see men leaving. I see a lot of absent fathers, so
Okay.
I think that's where I get the whole men leave over the women leave.
Yeah.
But
First?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, the man. Because like she said, there's a lot of like absent fathers. Because like I said, a lot of things change once y'all get married and have kids. Like the relationship is not the same.
Okay.
Oh, but yeah. So I'll say the man.
Okay.
But it depends.
Okay.
I'll say it depends.
Should
I'm scared.
because it's like, should you're building it up.
should the partner get a second chance if they leave? Doesn't matter the reason. Don't ask the reason.
Yes.
Should a partner get a second chance if they leave?
I think so.
Yeah.
If it was,
Oh, he said whatever the situation doesn't matter.
what do you think, Genesis?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, Genesis.
well, I say yes.
I
but
love
then
I love
say
that
it
I get to
depends.
ask you this because you're 18, so you
Yeah.
don't have the life experience
Yeah, I don't.
that we do, but you're going to, so you get to like hear some things here that pretty interesting. So you say yes. Is that what you said?
Yeah, but I was gonna say it depends. But
Okay, so I kind of agree. What do you think?
It depends.
Should
Yeah.
a partner have the opportunity to come back?
I mean, depends.
But if you had a yes or no, like let's say I need an answer, a yes or a no, which one would you say? And then we'll go into the it depends here in a second.
Did I leave in anger?
What do you mean?
Did I leave the relationship in anger? Was I just upset? It depends, John.
No, not yet. No, yet.
I don't know.
Because you're not the leaver. Did you leave? Is that the problem?
No.
Okay.
I feel like it's a trick question.
No,
Yeah.
it's not a trick question.
I feel like everything John asked me is a trick question. I'm careful
Do I ever ask trick questions?
all the time to me at work.
I do. Thank you. Yes, I do.
Hey, hold this stick.
Shut up. Man.
That's a trick question. Well,
Those are like
statement.
not public questions either, ever.
No,
Oh. Okay.
So,
it was an actual stick.
yeah.
I would hope so.
Now they're really gonna cancel.
No. So you say it depends. Okay. What are some situations or examples of where a person should not let the partner come back?
I think if it involves like any type of abuse, like let's say he like dragged you out of the house and like beat you outside or something, and as a part of he just cheated on me or we got into a big argument, then I feel like that's more like forgiving than abuse or
Yeah.
what else.
Because I feel like the second not just a guy, but anyone puts their hands on you, that just shows like all the respect on the table is gone.
Whether it's a guy or a girl, it goes both ways.
Because I feel like it takes a lot to hit somebody.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I dated a crazy girl one time. She punched me right in the face.
And did
She
you
punched
leave?
right in the face?
Did you hit her back? No,
He called me crying.
Oh.
I did.
But did you leave?
I did.
Look, next time call me and I'll go. I got your back.
She jumped in the back of my truck as I was leaving, trying to bash it out with a hammer.
Well, what'd you do?
Tried to leave.
So you said it takes a while for somebody for a person to hit, right?
I feel like it takes a lot.
A lot. Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't think there's ever a situation where it's right if it's just like a little petty argument. I mean, if you're fighting like...
Some people just hit for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if your partner ever hits you, it's just that guy or girl doesn't respect you.
Don't get.
Question. Okay. So it's interesting. I would like to know the numbers of how often people return to an abusive relationship. Because you hear about it all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if the numbers are as high as people talk about it. I think we just exaggerate specific situations that make it look big. But I would like to know what those numbers are. I don't know what they actually are, because there's something called trauma bonding. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that occurs a lot in abusive relationships. Have you ever heard of that, Matt? Trauma bonding.
It's more like Stockholm syndrome, I think.
Yeah. See, he's my expert too. My human encyclopedia. But it's and I think that's part of the return. Why people return to relationships. But I also saw recently a statement where somebody was saying, "Don't let a person return," because what has happened is when they and let's assume it was an abusive relationship. Let's say, for example, some reasons why people leave. Some people leave, and this gets under my skin so bad. So let's talk about marriage. How often, who leaves more during marriage, the woman or the man? Let me tell you first how I asked this question earlier, and so the first one was before people are married, which one lasts the longest, the man or the? And they just went crazy. I was like,
She doesn't get it.
I need to say it all the way. Like I asked, which one lasts the longest, the man or the woman?
Is it what I think it is?
Yes.
Yes, I'm pretty sure
That's
you're
why
the one with that mind. I expect you to get it.
That's why they were all laughing.
They were all laughing. They were like, well, "What do you, John? I don't think you should be asking this."
Hold
question."
on, it's
like-
my time to shine.
Who lasts longer in the relationship, the man or the woman?
Yeah, and I was
From
like,
my
"Whoa."
experience.
Well,
But in any case, marriage. Who normally leaves first, in your opinion, the man or the woman?
I feel like in marriage, I see a lot of women.
Yeah.
Because
Give me more like why would you support that answer?
I've seen a lot of divorces in my life, so
What would you say they are about? If you know.
I know I've seen a lot about just cheating, infidelity.
Okay.
So I feel like women maybe try to fix it,
Uh-huh.
and I guess the guy just can't overcome that. I'm sure after the first time it puts a strain,
Yeah.
and then it's awkward, and then how do you rebuild from that? And I feel like that's just the main source that I've seen, from people at church, people I know personally.
Your personal experience.
Yes, that's the way I've seen it. Not regarding any statistics or whatever,
Yeah.
but I think in marriage it's a lot of women because they try to fix it and they just can't, and
You're so young.
I think it's better to leave.
Yeah.
Well, she's experienced. She's seen me and my brother go through our.
Yeah. But I'm just
Divorce.
saying
Yeah.
in general, like she got
Yeah.
life experience to get. Yeah. So
Hopefully no divorce
Yeah.
experience though.
Hold
Yeah.
on, don't even
So
say
we're
that.
hoping
Don't even say
she's the one
Yeah.
that breaks that curse.
Yeah.
What about you? Like what are some reasons that people end their marriage? What's your experience?
I feel like I was saying before, like once you have kids, like I feel like it changes a lot because now you're focusing on your kids and I feel like you kind of forget about your partner. So I feel like that's one of the problems or that's one of the things, and that's what starts causing, like problems and fights and, you know, like you have to get the kids to bed, but you still have to cook. You still got to do this. And then it's like once you get to bed, you like don't want to do anything. So it's like, I'm not talking about that, but I'm just saying. Like, I feel like that's one of the problems too. Like,
Yeah.
when you have kids, I feel like it changes a lot. Which I feel like that's what. Or
Okay.
like if they work, like if you have like different work schedules, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So here's one of the. So, how do you view marriage? One of the biggest questions that I talk to people about, because I was married for a year and a half, and people often ask me, you know, when I was dating, people would ask, you know, when are you gonna get married? Or are you thinking about marriage? And I'm like, I've already been married. I don't think I want to marry again. Like for me, it was a one-time thing.
Exactly. That's what I say. I'm like, if I'm getting married again, it's gonna be for that green card, not because I'm in love.
See?
No, like for real. I was like,
Yeah.
I did it one time and that's it. Like I'm traumatized.
So, but and then there's a long thing about it, and I don't want to get into it right now. But that was, my ingrained belief is marriage is one time. Like we can in our lives talk about or do so many things in life in terms of commitment. Like we can commit and leave things all the time. But as far as I've ever been alive, I believe that marriage was one time. We don't do it like we do cars. We don't do it like we do, you know, home notes. Marriage is supposed to be for life, right?
Yeah.
And there are very, very few and serious exceptions as to why one would end that marriage. So when I see people say, I left the marriage because we grew apart, like, I get
Yeah.
physically upset because I'm like, you knew when you were going to marry. That is a lifelong commitment.
Yeah.
Covenant. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You're-
like that one time I got married, I instantly knew I made a mistake.
Oh.
How did you instantly know, though?
It was a Hispanic family. They were
Oh,
crazy.
So it was the family, not the partner?
Man,
Hold on. So how many times have you been married?
just once.
Oh, okay. Because you made it seem like.
Just once.
Yeah.
It was traumatizing.
Yeah.
Wow.
How long?
The
How long
family
were you
was
married
good.
Crazy in what way? I'm sorry.
Well, you just said they were good.
Oh.
Like the mom and dad. Well, the mom was good.
for? Wait, first of all, you said they were Hispanic, so now I'm a little bit bothered.
All right, the mother was like real hardcore Hispanic, and all the siblings.
What's hardcore Hispanic? What does
like,
that mean?
She was born in it. In
Okay.
the streets of Mexico.
Like.
So was I.
Okay.
Like she was in a gang?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, she was like the cholas.
Oh.
No, she's a very sweet lady.
Oh.
That's the case.
I'm over here thinking about a lady with face tattoos and
But her
She had
dad,
18th
Real.
Street.
Had an
Had
eyebrow.
18th Street right here.
yeah.
but you know, her dad's a white guy, and he's just real far out there,
Yeah.
like redneck. It was a chaotic family.
Right.
It is.
So
that
what?
does sound like a recipe for disaster, maybe.
Yeah.
So I guess one question would be, why did you get married?
I thought that was what I was supposed to do at the time.
Okay.
Did she need
Yeah.
a green card?
No, she was the whitest Mexican I've ever met.
Yeah.
She didn't even know Spanish.
Oh.
See, that was your first mistake.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
couldn't cook worth a.
You didn't know that before you got married?
No, I was like, oh, I'm in love.
Yeah. How does a Mexican not know how to cook?
Because
I mean, I don't know how to cook.
He just said one of the things that I was talking about earlier, like he was in love.
I met her in
Yeah.
a strip club.
One of the things that
Boy, that's your second mistake.
That was the
no, that was the
one.
first one.
Was she the stripper or she was just there?
Hold up. I
She
feel
was
like I
just
know.
there.
I feel like I know who you're talking. No, I'm like,
Do you know? Did she know her?
no. I
Or
was
is
just,
that when you were working? Oh, my bad. I thought you said you worked there.
Kim was an ex stripper
no.
at Jags.
I was the extra.
No, it's
You were the
great.
backup.
The
You were
janitor?
the B team.
I was a janitor.
Yeah.
The one that would clean the.
So you knew? Or were you serious when you say I knew almost really close that it was a mistake?
Oh yeah, within the first year, it was.
When I married my wife, my eyeballs were like, "Till death do us part."
Yeah.
Right. That's it. But I was the culprit. I was the villain in that story. I'm the one who made the mistakes. I was the one who committed infidelity. Right. And when I remember vividly the day that she said, I don't think we need to be married anymore. It's probably the last time we spoke, to be honest with you. We might have talked less than one sentence ever since then. We haven't talked since. Because that, even though I'm the culprit, to me, that was the end. Like, that was a death for me. It was a death in my life. And I'm almost living like on God's time now. I'm just like, whatever, because and people tell me, like, you could get married. And I'm like, it's going to take God to break me to do that, because I don't feel it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to find you a new wife.
Yeah, and people, I don't know. But so it,
Posting on
All
our
right,
things
if
long
there's
be
a hot
tomorrow.
Latina out there for John.
no, there's not. There's, let's see.
He likes white girls.
So
He's
when
married
I-
a white girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Almost
your
I was too-
problem.
almost I was too- Oh Lord. Anyways, so when I get back to like that statement or statements like that where people are like going to a marriage because of the beauty, because of the feeling of it. I'm in love. And then I talk about what's the difference between being in love and loving somebody. I think being in love kind of blinds you to a lot of the red flags of what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Right? You overlook a lot of things. But you also got to be careful to not let red flags also be barriers to what could be a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
a very big balancing act, dancing act. And that's why I say, like, you're young. There's going to be times where you're like going to question the validity of your relationship, and there's a lot to weigh out. And I think the beauty is you have older siblings that have been through a lot, and you can bounce that stuff off and never create such a boundary between the two where you can share openly with them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're in a relationship, people tend to make you build walls around everyone so that you don't do that, so
Yeah.
that they're the only ones pumping in and taking out information. And I wanted to get your viewpoints on those types of relationships. What would you tell people from your point of view? Because you two are very different. What advice would you give a person who's about to get married?
Run.
Yeah, to not get married.
Yeah. Matt's over there laughing because he's when are you
ready
getting
to
married,
run.
Matt?
May,
He's getting married in May.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What day?
the 23rd.
23rd.
My birthday's in
your
May. So I
birthday.
was trying to
Yeah.
see.
His story is so amazing. Yeah. So.
His dad was a senator.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know anything about politics, so
No.
I wouldn't know.
What is there to know?
Nothing. I love Matt.
Let's
So,
pick something and argue about
what
it.
advice would you give people who are just about to get married? Because you've been married, you've been divorced. Why did you get a divorce? I'm gonna ask you.
Oh, wow.
Was it your fault or his fault?
It was his fault.
It was his
I
fault.
think-
I get that. Like, let her answer.
No, I think
I feel like
Dang.
she's gonna be nicer about it. I
feel like it plays maybe in both parts.
I think that plays into the how you
Yeah.
said being in love makes you blind to certain
Mhm.
things. Now that she's not together with him, she could see, oh my gosh, why was I letting that
Yeah.
happen?
So, your parents were together, have been together for how long?
40 years?
40 years.
Yeah.
What do you see the secret in that? Before you answer that other question, what do you see the
Oh,
secret in
wow.
that? The reason I asked that
They
is-
are in love.
let me ask you because
because
it's not a racial thing, but it's I do enjoy seeing people that have been together for most of their life, even if they're fighting, even if they're like not happy with each other. I'm like, if there's one thing about that marriage, it's loyalty, because they have made that commitment stick.
yeah.
I don't care if they're like boxing at the end, like at least they're married, right? They're still
Yeah.
going to bed and in the same bed,
Yeah.
and they knew the value of that commitment the day they said the day they
Yeah.
said I do, right? Your parents, I don't think, I always wonder, do people know who have been together that long the what's the right word I'm looking for here? Like I really am impressed with people that live together that long, right?
Oh, I know.
Because there are battles that you two will never know about,
Yeah.
that they've
Yeah.
been through. And-
It's because they choose to love each other through everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was
and
gonna
it's
say.
hard to do, right?
It's very hard to,
Right.
when somebody does something wrong to you, it's hard to be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Right.
forgive you, but people do
Also,
it.
to be very selfless, because I feel like every person has an expectation of what they want their marriage to look like.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's maybe the reason why there's a lot more divorces now is because people are seeing their expectations aren't being met to 100% and they automatically think this isn't the person for me.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the whole thing about marriage is compromise, because I'm sure that there's things that my dad might have expected from my mom that he didn't get, and things that my mom expected from my dad that he didn't get. And that's the beauty of seeing that, like seeing him wake up to choose my mom, choose to love my mom even if the dishes aren't done, or my mom choosing to love my dad even if his feet stink, or whatever he says.
Yeah, and like, I'm sure they didn't expect some of the kids to be the way they were, and having to deal with those struggles together and figuring out how. Cause
Yeah, and they were. My mom was 15 and my dad was 17
when they got married.
and she was pregnant with my brother when they got
it's
married.
insane, right?
So I feel like they had
it's
all the odds stacked against them,
Yeah.
like a teen pregnancy and
Yeah.
then teen marriage, and
I think a good
Worked
precursor is to a stable relationship is to go through adversity,
Yeah.
serious adversity together
Yeah.
prior to and during marriage. I think it creates a better bond, a stronger bond. That, hey, we dealt with this, we can deal with anything. And like I said, I see a lot of people that grow old together. And I really would just like to sit down with them and say, hey, man, tell me about your marriage. Tell me what worked, what
Yeah.
didn't work. And some of them, I bet, would say, I don't like that guy, but I married him, and that's what I gotta do. I love him because I hate him.
See, like we all, like when my dad gets onto us or like he makes us mad, we're always tell my mom like, how have you been putting up with this man for so long? It's like,
because we get a fraction of it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I'm
and
sure you do.
she's
Yeah.
with him every single second.
or like if he doesn't go to work and he's home all day, she's like, oh, ya quiero que se vaya. Like he's getting on my nerves. Like he needs to go.
So there's two funny stories. One, well, not necessarily funny, but my mom, my dad died when I was young, and I would ask my mom later in life, like, because she would tell me about stuff that occurred, because I would go and I ask, because I wanted to know about their history, and she would tell me some things, and I'll be like, why would you let that happen?
Yeah.
You know why? You know what her answer was? Because I made a commitment to God to that man. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like,
See, I feel like that's what mom says sometimes.
Yeah.
She's like,
and my mom never married again. Like, she
Wow.
dated, I think, one man, and I asked her, like, why didn't you marry him? She goes, because I've already been married, like,
yeah.
to and she would call my dad, my dad, her husband, even after he was dead. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy, right? She was an alcoholic too, but so those things like ingrained in me. And
Yeah.
if and I've done a lot of stuff in my life that I'm not happy with, but the one thing that I thought I would be good at was marriage. And when I messed that up, I'm like, I think I'm done. Like, I think I'm
Yeah.
done with what I need to do.
What made you think you'd be good at marriage?
So
Sorry.
That was
Yeah.
Sorry.
serious.
Yeah.
Because you just said that for sure.
I was confident, right? So when I told my ex-wife, I'm ready. We've been dating off and on for like maybe 15 years or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I said, let's get married. Like, I know I want to be with you. I've done what I needed to do, and even today, like, if I were to marry, if you were to ask me today, who would I love to be married to? That's the girl I would love to be married to. But it is my behavior that kept me from being the 100% person I needed to be in that marriage. And she had the choice, not me, of ending that marriage. And that's the way it is, right? So part of me died at the end of that marriage.
I hope she hears this and comes back.
No. No.
So if you're listening,
No, she has a wonderful life. I'm just like that's just the commitment that I still have to not, to that. Like, when I say people need to think about marriage before they do it, like, they really
Yeah.
need to think about it.
Yeah.
And not that it matters. Like, in this world, it doesn't matter. It's like everything else. Like, people have, and I joke a lot about, like, people have more thought about the commitment to their tattoos than they do to their marriages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they do, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have any tattoos?
Show them the smiley face
Do you have a smiley face tattoo?
and a cross. I see them all.
yeah, I do, but it doesn't matter.
Where does he
okay.
have it?
Are we doing a tattoo tour?
No.
Do
No.
it.
No, this is
Show them.
the Castanons.
Oh. But
So-
they asked you.
No, they didn't. You mentioned it.
I feel like they need to
Mm,
see.
Yeah.
Show them
at
the
least-
one on your chest.
I don't have one. Just
Oh man. So this is us every day. Like, wait. So well, I thought you were gonna show them. So where was I? So what would you do? What would you, even though you've never been married? Like, what-
My advice?
Yeah.
do y'all
for-
plan on getting married?
I do.
don't. That's,
Oh.
that's a hard. That's a hard. Listen,
What?
man.
You invited
Go
me.
ahead. Do y'all plan on
Yeah,
getting
she
married?
needs to because I need more nephews.
Aye.
Nieces.
Aye.
My advice. Well, I feel like I have a very, I guess, innocent outlook on it because I guess I've never really been through anything. Obviously, I've never been divorced, but I feel like my advice to someone that is getting married, I'd say if you believe in God and you trust in God, that's the secret sauce. I feel like maybe that's why I see a lot of marriages fail is God wasn't in the center. And if God was
I
in
can
your
agree with
center, certain actions wouldn't have been committed. Hence a lot of outcomes. So, but that's more on like your part. Like if I wake up every day and I choose to read my Bible, spend time with God, then that'll change me as a future wife, as a future mom, as an aunt, as a sister, as a daughter, you know? So it's just like a domino effect. It'll bleed into all of your relationships
Good.
in a good way.
I love that.
See, she's
I
smart.
feel like you should be learning from your sister.
I know.
Dang.
Well, I
Yeah,
feel like I have a biblical answer for
I
everything.
always go to her también for some advice. I'm like, what should I do with?
What advice has she given you on relationships, or do you take it?
I don't
I feel
think
like I haven't given you
Yeah, I
relationship
don't think
advice.
I've asked her for any of that.
No,
I
we talk a
can
lot
tell. Not right
about
now.
the like, I guess the Christian walk
Yeah,
sense of questions.
we're gonna get to that.
That's what I'm excited
Yeah.
to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna get to
I
that.
know more about that than divorce.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay. So, when's the last time that you've cried?
yesterday,
Why did you cry yesterday?
Was it? No, I think the last time I cried was.
today.
Was
We
it today?
cried
Oh, with
today.
mom.
Yeah.
Why did
well,
you cry?
That's today, because she was talking about how she had like an encounter with Satan about like him trying to mess with our family, and she like prayed over it and stuff.
Was this before you came to the podcast?
Yeah.
I think it happened last night
So you cried, and
because she started crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a
explaining
domino.
it to us. So
so I'm gonna ask you this: if your mom was sitting here, and that's it, what would you tell your mom?
I don't think I can say that right now
Why not?
because I'll start crying, and I don't want to cry right now.
Come on. We got napkins.
Yeah, and it's 4K. They'll see our tears.
She made fun of me because I was crying like for the past 2 weeks. She's like, "Why are you always crying?" So sorry, guys.
Well, it's a very
Well,
hard and touchy time of our life. We've never.
with just with everything that's been going on with
Yeah.
her. She's been the one that's
She's the rock, right?
yeah.
Yeah, she is.
My dad was. My mom was the rock. My dad died. We still hung out. When the day that my mom died, literally, like we ceased communication.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. It's
Yeah.
I don't think until you go through it, you understand. Like
Yeah.
when that rock falls apart, you know that you were the rock when you fall apart. And we've talked about getting together, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah.
So what would you tell her?
Just that I love her and that I'm very thankful for everything she's done for us and with us for the past years. I still live with my parents, so, they've done a lot for me and for my son. And not just for me, but for her and my brother and his kids and, with everything. So just that I'm very thankful that she's my mom.
So if your mom was sitting here,
She's really pushed me to, like, dive into my spiritual gifts. She's such a good learner. She's a good speaker. She's never scared of anything. So I think that's where I got the whole go-getter attitude. And she loves to talk. Yeah. So I think that's why I like to talk. If I didn't have her as my mom, I would not be the woman I am today. Like, I'm 100% confident. If she didn't raise me the way that she did, I would not be the woman I am today.
Awesome. Now I'm going to ask you the same thing, like, about your dad. What would you tell your dad if he was here? Because I think when I met them both, I think I had a bigger impression from your father than I did your mother. I get envious. Like, I get envious when I see full Hispanic families, because ours was broken when I was young, and I get a sense of jealousy. Like, man, I didn't get this experience. So I'm jealous that you guys, you get to be the way you are. You get to be the way you are. We know I grew up.
I'm jealous too.
Yeah. Did you grow up similar to that? Like, well, Casey has a story too.
Not in.
You can watch his podcast. Don't tell him, because
not in a Hispanic family. I didn't.
But it's a similar, like, it's a story, and his podcast will be out pretty soon. It's a good story. But I think his is beautiful. Matt's is beautiful. His story is. Look, don't wink at me, bro. Matt is amazing. If I was white, I would like to be Matt. So, like, Matt, how such?
Well, that's something my mom would always tell me when I was younger, because all of my friends I went to school with, they all had divorced parents.
Yeah.
So I was the weird one.
Yeah.
So I had parents that were together. And I always had, like, those girlfriends that were, like, kind of jealous. I'm like, why are they jealous? They have nice houses, nice cars. But my mom would always tell me they have all the materialistic stuff, but they don't have present parents in the home.
Yeah.
Their parents are together, but they're always at work. Or they have all these nice things, and their parents aren't together. They don't come home and see mom and dad together at the dinner table laughing. Right. So even though we didn't have, like, a fancy house growing up, I think we are far more richer just because we had that privilege of having...
You had a good family structure.
Healthy, a healthy relationship in our life like that.
So what would you tell your dad?
I'd tell my dad that his work doesn't go unseen. I feel like being a Hispanic dad, you just think you're always in the background and they have to be this really strong dude, but I would just tell him that his work doesn't go unseen. Especially, I have told him before. And my boyfriend tells him all the time, because he'll go to the churro shop, like, before we get there on certain Saturdays. He'll get there early, or before we open. We open at 7, and he'll get there before I'm even there at 6:30, so what time he gets there. But he'll go and do things and, clean little spots we might have missed. So
is that the whole place?
Huh? No, it's not the whole place. But sometimes we'll have big orders, and he'll be like, hey, don't worry, let's just go home. I'll come early and I'll sweep. So it's like little things like that he wouldn't get applauded for are things that I love about him, because it takes a really humble person to be willing to say, hey, I want to be in the background.
Instead of go do whatever I want.
Yeah. Or instead of, like, doing something that people will see. Yeah. He's very humble. He really lives out the don't tell your right hand what your left hand is doing, or maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Because he's very, if God tells him to do something, he'll do it. Keep it in between him and God. And that's another thing he's taught me is, if God tells you to tithe, don't post on Facebook and say, hey guys, just tithe today. Like, some things are meant to be kept secret between you and God.
I kind of feel like there's a reason I had both of you come on today. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I have a feeling.
Oh, God.
There's a reason for everything.
Yeah. What would you tell your dad about his impact on you?
Just that I'm very thankful that he's my dad, and that he, made the sacrifice, because I feel like he had he had it rough, you know, like walking,
Yeah.
you know, the desert, and he had to go through the river and, you know,
Drink the dirty water.
drink nasty water. And, you know, like he made a big sacrifice, you know, like
Right.
he left his family, his mom and his siblings, you know, to give us a better life.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've always been thankful for that.
Mm.
And regardless of him having such a rough childhood, because he had a dad that was, you know, not a dad.
Horrible.
Yes.
Horrible.
So he always told me that when he had kids, he wasn't going to be the same way that his dad was with him. So that's one of the things I'm very thankful for. Because you always tell us stories how his dad was, you know, like a piece of crap, and he's nothing like that. So that's, you know, another thing I'm very thankful for, that he's very, you know, he does get on to us and stuff, but he still loves, like, he's very, very
Yeah.
loving and caring.
Like what's an example of him getting onto you?
Oh, just, you know, I guess just like regular dad things.
I'm trying to think.
How old is he?
57.
57.
Dang, he's only 10 years older than me.
He's
My dad's
2 years. He's 2 years older than mom.
Insane.
My dad's 72.
Oh wow.
Good
He always
God.
gets on to me for like things about my car, because that car's gone through so much.
Yeah.
It's gotten the motor replaced, the transmission replaced. Like I should have gotten a new car, but you can't get a new or used car, you know, for $5,000 anymore, unless it no wheels, no brakes, no windows, you know.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
So, wow. Have you found faith?
And just
Or are you religious?
maybe not as much as as her, but I was at some point.
Okay.
But you know, hopefully I can get back to that, because I know how she said that there's always going to be a point where God has to bring you back. Right? That's what she said.
Yes,
where
that's
you-
so that would scare me so bad, because
'cause
I
she
mean I
said-
wasn't always like
She said that that something has to happen to you for you to go back to God, to where you used to be. And she's like, and I'm scared my boyfriend's gonna die, and I'm gonna get closer to God. And her boyfriend was like, why do I have to be the one that dies? So just things
Dang.
like that. So I feel like now with like our situation with my mom,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of helped me a little bit. I mean, I pray and, you know, just whenever I can, or just before I go to bed, or, you know, during the
Yeah.
day. But I don't really go to church. Like, I feel like I'm not as closer to God as she is.
Okay.
Eli doesn't like
which
to.
is okay. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my nephew Eli, he doesn't really like to. We dropped him off at like Sunday school one time, and we went back and we sat down. As soon as we sat down, they were like, "Hey, can you come get him?" Because he was so scared. He just didn't want to be. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
That it's not just because she doesn't want to, but it's like it's hard for her to.
Yeah, and, you know, like, I don't have, like, the only help I get is from my parents. You know, like, I
Yeah.
don't get any other help.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to, you know, like, accommodate. Because I have to accommodate to him, you know, because he doesn't like, you know, like, loud noises or things like that. So that's,
Yeah.
like, another thing.
I gotta say that your voice sounds a lot like one of my nieces, and it's crazy. She did federal time.
Oh,
She did federal time. I think she did like 4 years feds.
For what?
Yeah, I can't say, but
I'm scared. For murder.
when I heard you say a few words, I was like, bro, I feel like I'm listening to my cousin, my niece. She is super awesome now, but
oh, that's good.
yeah, it's like, I feel like I just heard my niece in your voice. Oh my god. I also feel I won't say that on there, but yeah, there's something about you that I'd like to say at some other time.
You
So-
can text me.
Right now,
You don't like to wait for stuff? Yeah.
neither do I.
I'm gonna make you wait. I'm gonna probably
John will
I'm
leave you
probably-
hanging for days.
I'm probably gonna wait a week
Oh,
before I
I'm
tell
sure.
you, and it's important. Yeah. So, your walk with faith.
Yeah.
When did it begin?
I always grew up in church, but I mean, I feel like I've always been a little bit more mature than all of my other peers,
Right.
just because I have older
has.
siblings. And so I think it was like maybe like 6th grade. That was about the time where they did youth group at our church.
Okay.
And the school I went to had a church.
Okay.
So I go to New Covenant Church. But I did a lot of thinking, and I was like, well, if I die, I can't go to heaven because my mom believes in God, or my dad believes in God, or my grandma served the Lord. You know, like, I'll go to heaven because I knew God. I served God, you know? So I've always had those weird, deep thoughts since I was little. And it wasn't like a fear thing, but it was like, okay, like, who's this Jesus guy? Like, I hear all these stories about him, but, like, how is he actually, you know? Getting to know him, you know, I've gotten to know him a lot. And I wasn't always super close with him. I was very close, probably 6th to 8th grade. And then I just kind of fell out of it. I had some problems at church, and it just kind of drove me away. But then I had to realize that Jesus wasn't the one that hurt me. It was the humans. And I think that that's a lot of people's experiences now. And you just have to learn, regardless of your circumstances, like, that doesn't change God's character. So even though, like, my circumstances right now aren't what I would have liked for them to be, that doesn't change God's goodness and his faithfulness to not just me, but our family.
Yeah. Keep that that attitude throughout your life. You'll do really great.
Yeah, it's been hard. It's not, sometimes I have to, like, fake it.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it, because it's a choice to wake up and choose Jesus, especially when you drive down 80 at 5 p.m. Have to make that choice of patience.
Yes.
And you deal with customers.
Yeah, and with customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that your day is interesting with that business and the customers that come in and out. I'm always curious as to what the customer base is like. But
They're usually pretty good. Some people just don't understand. Like, we had a girl come in, she was like, I want one of the stuffed churros, and I was like, okay, we have dulce de leche, which is like the caramel, or Bavarian, just like a vanilla. She was like, no, the other one. And she was there, and I was like, we don't have another one. Those are only two. She's like, no, you do have another one. Like, I was here, and I know you have another one. And I was like,
Yeah, and
no,
like,
like, I was like, no, like, I'm literally the owner. Like, we don't have another one. And she was like, no, you do. And I was like, oh, the caramel one? And she was like, yeah. No, what? I was like,
Yeah, I
caramel,
said
vanilla?
caramel.
And she's like, what's that? She's like, what's the difference between caramel and vanilla?
Oh, and dulce de leche. I think she said, what's the difference between dulce de leche and caramel?
Yeah, and I was like,
It's the same thing, kind of. Kind of, right? Or is it?
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like caramel
Here's
is...
a little nerdy. Okay, caramel, made in America, is made with water. Dulce de leche, that's made in Mexico, is made with milk.
Okay.
That's the
yeah.
difference.
It's
Which one did she
leche
want?
de cabra, right?
We only have dulce de leche, but she ended up going with the Bavarian, which is, like, not even close to...
Yeah.
But we've never had anyone that's, like, been, like, really rude or...
No.
I think it's a cool business.
No
Yeah.
wild customers.
No.
Not
I don't think
now.
in that business you're gonna get anywhere near wild customers.
No.
You never know.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
really
you'll
do
be
never know,
surprised.
but thankfully, we haven't had any really crazy experiences.
Yeah.
I wish we did.
Oh, except people thinking that half a dozen equals 8.
Oh yeah, we did have
Not 6.
we did have a girl come in. She was very mad. She
No,
was
we
like,
had a few. We probably had about 3 people.
yeah,
that
she
say
was
that.
really mad. She was like, "You shorted me 2 churros." I was like, "Did I give you 4?" She was like, "No, you gave me 6." And I was like, "Yeah, you got half a dozen." She's like, "Yeah, 12 divided by 2, 8. Yeah." And I was like, she was just so confident that I was like, "You're right. You're right." I just
Did you
didn't-
give her the extra
Yes,
two?
I didn't want to fight with her. She was so confident she was right. So I was like, okay, yeah, you are
Oh my
right.
lord. Man.
That's probably the funniest moment,
Yeah.
probably.
That's why I would have let her know how dumb she was.
Sometimes you just gotta learn to be like, yeah.
I would have let him know how dumb he was.
Yeah, just give them a free churro and they'll be happy.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Well, that's not uncommon. So
Now she's gonna expect
Yeah.
it every time.
Oh,
Yes.
She hasn't come back.
really,
Well,
She thinks we're the dumb ones. Yeah.
that's so interesting. And so I deal with that all the time. I deal with people who believe they're right. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, so
Cult, our
I
cult
meant
leader.
online, not necessarily at work, but online, just dealing with all that stuff.
He's the devil.
So what you guys have any questions for us?
How was your bike crash?
Oh, I
The
saw you
motorcycle crash?
posted it
Yeah,
again.
I thought it was fake.
Well, I saw you posted it like, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
And I was
I'm
like,
healing pretty well, aren't I?
and I was like, holy crap! Did he
Yeah.
get into another?
Another one.
I thought it was fresh until I read the whole thing. I was like, okay, he's good.
Yeah, like what happened?
Somebody just pulled down in front of me, and it wasn't that bad. I laid the bike down before I hit it. I had enough sense to like lay down before I hit the car, and just busted my head open because I didn't have a helmet on. That's all that. Like people that ride bikes were in those comments. Like I can tell you weren't wearing a helmet.
He said it wasn't that bad, but I was
But
there
you were
in the
purple.
I was in the
Yeah, I
hospital
busted.
with him, and he was talking crazy, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I've never broken a bone up to that point, and I broke my clavicle,
Oh.
and like it feels so weird. I like feeling it because it's like it's just like there's a big. I'm like I don't, you don't know you don't know what's
Yeah.
different till you know it.
Can I touch it?
Oh.
No, and,
You should do a raffle on All Things Longview.
I think that's the thing.
So they can
Whoever-
Facebook
touch you?
doesn't let
Yeah,
you.
whoever wins gets to touch your broken clavicle.
Can I post that tonight? That
No,
whoever.
no.
I'm selling each ticket
Do
for
it.
$5.
But my son, he's so weird. He's like an extreme introvert. He's at the hospital. I love my church. Everybody at the my pastor showed up. Kaylee, one of the ladies at church, showed up, and this guy showed up.
I cut his
He's-
underwear off.
He's there with my son,
Stop.
and my son's in the room, and he's in the room, and my son says,
The nurse said he can go home, and we're figuring out what to get off of him.
"I can go home." Like she
Yeah.
said, he can get ready to go home.
Well, they didn't cut his underwear all the way off, and his son's like, "I gotta go make a phone call." I was
Right when
like,
they said that.
"Are you serious?" And I pulled my pocket knife out. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I gotta cut it."
Yeah,
Luckily,
so-
there was a pair of scissors.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. At least you got lucky
Yeah.
there.
So, and what's cool? Another cool part was, the staples were without anesthesia. That was pretty cool for me because they said we can give you anesthesia. It's gonna take 25 minutes. Like, let's just do it. So they came out with a stapler. He's like, clack, clack, clack.
Do you have
I
any
was
scars from it? Or
like, barely any. It's worse than the healing was. My daughter, my beautiful daughter, let me stay on in a recliner, dude. The recovery is insane. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, I bet.
But
Did
You
you
were
have to get the stitches
gone
taken
for how long
I
were you
think
down?
almost a month and a half.
Dang.
Yeah. Do what?
Did you have to get the stitches taken out, or were they like the
He pulled them out in the recliner.
yourself?
Mm-hmm.
stopped, or did they dissolve? Oh,
No. I just took some pliers.
why?
Show him the video.
No,
There's
I
a
don't-
video.
So, man, I don't even,
I'm
I don't
gonna
even
raffle that
remember.
off next.
I don't even remember half of that. But yeah, and I got to give a lot of credit to my daughter and the patience that she has with me because, she and I don't have a great relationship, and she has the heart, like the biggest heart I've ever seen. So
Yeah, she's very sweet.
and we weren't even that close for a while. Like I think she had some coming. I don't know if it was coming to Jesus or what, but she's had some stuff she's had to deal with. I've had some stuff I've had to deal with, and but yeah, she's like, let me, come stay on the on the recliner, and some friends brought me stuff throughout that time to eat because I couldn't do recovery's crazy, and mine would be considered minimal injuries based on bike, as opposed to what I've seen some guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember when I had to run to your storage and get clothes for you so you could leave the hospital? And I just grabbed what was on top, and you had your arm in a sling, remember?
Yeah.
And I grabbed the tightest shirt he owned.
I'm like, bro, this is the smallest shirt I got. What are you doing?
Well, didn't you pick up some ceviche like not?
Yeah, a
long
little bit
ago
after
after-
that.
yeah.
Well, I don't know if I was in a sling at that point. I was like super.
you were still. And
I was moving around at that point. Yeah.
And
Thank
I was
you
like,
for that.
It looks like he's faking.
I didn't think.
And she was acting all weird. Like she was like, here, and then she tried to leave. I'm like, oh, okay, well, thank
Like you have a disease.
Yeah,
It's just a broken bone.
Thank
I don't
you.
want to catch it.
Well,
I think she almost threw it at me. Like, yeah.
I was gonna leave it in the mailbox. No, I'm kidding.
outside the door.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I mean, people are like that sometimes. Like, I don't know, but yeah, that was in February. It's just sometimes I get in these moods where I'm like, I want to share what I've been through. And,
Yeah.
But and the veras, like when we talk about that kind of stuff online, like I've learned how to create engagement. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I do that stuff for. But yeah, that's one of those questions. I thought y'all were gonna have a more spectacular question.
Oh, like
that.
something
That was
deeper?
pretty easy. I don't think you can handle the deep ones. So
How deep?
go for it. I mean,
No, I'm still traumatized that you said you pulled out those stitches on your own.
I don't actually. I didn't.
Oh.
Oh,
I
'cause-
didn't. I don't remember. I might have one or two. I liked feeling it though. Like I would do like this, and you can feel like the click, 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 click across the stitches.
You should have done ASMR with it.
Somewhat.
ASMR.
What's that?
Like the,
I don't know what it stands for, but
You're
it,
a TikTok guy, and you don't know what that is.
yeah,
No.
where they like,
All the sounds. Like,
Oh, dude. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
yeah, do like a whole bunch of money
okay.
off of it though.
Really?
Yeah,
You should have.
I
do it.
hey, I should do that now.
Yeah.
Like I should start that.
yeah, you have all this
Or you
setup.
can, yeah. Well, I'll
This
be
is
here
riches, man.
eating.
This is
Oh
riches
yeah, you
stuff.
should do my
give
things
up,
where people
give up
eat.
your feet.
I want to do the
selling-
ones. Hey, are y'all down to do the ones?
Yes. Where you eat?
No.
Oh.
Where they do the video of like somebody doing something like smacking, and then the second part of the video is like. us doing
Oh,
it. You know what I'm talking-
yes.
We should do some of those.
What's
I wanna
this
do
sound?
that.
You know what I'm talking about? We were talking about that.
Where the
this
lady
week.
like hit the building. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like moments before.
No, it's like when you share.
And we can do it for your Mr. Churros. Like
Yeah.
just slam your get inside door and like.
Oh yes.
Like the ones I
where
think-
people fall off like
Yeah.
a chair and then it's the second part.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking
One of
about.
my favorite ones is where.
I thought you were inviting us to come eat here.
Yeah, do a mukbang. We should have brought churros.
Can we do that next?
No, 'cause then people would have heard us chew. I thought about that.
I mean, they're listening to you.
Or
I was gonna
coffee.
say something about you chewing your gum.
I
'cause
know,
you
I'm
we
sorry.
can hear it.
Really, I could
Some
hear
people are
it.
gonna be like, some people are gonna be like, is there somebody?
Is there
in the
a cow
background
in
eating?
there?
Oh, my
Close enough.
I didn't know how to. So I was just like, I'll have to edit it out. So yeah, but no, that would be pretty fun. But I think about these things all the time, and I'm saying, I'm like, that would be cool to do. But I'm always up for those things. But anyways,
Yeah.
I've got a question for you.
Oh,
sure.
What is your greatest decision
My greatest decision
that you've ever made?
that I've ever made. Let's see. I think one of my greatest decisions that I ever made was to move to leave where I lived in 1999. That's one of my greatest decisions.
And you came here?
This is where I ended up at. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember. We all have catalytic moments in life. Matt has them. You have them. Y'all have them. Do you know what that means? Do you know that?
I thought you were going to say catalytic converters.
No. Do you know why they? Do you know why they call it a catalytic converter?
What is
No.
that?
Do you know what the word catalytic means?
No.
Catalytic is change. Is a combustion. It's a moment of change. And so when I say a catalytic moment in your life, it's something happened in life, right? Something major. And for me, I remember I worked in concrete when I was young, and I worked with a whole bunch of young. I was a young guy, right, and busting my tail, right.
He can sling a sledgehammer. I've seen it.
Mm.
And
You can make some money.
cálmate, cálmate. Cálmate. But I remember. So my mom had split up with her boyfriend. Dude, it's so crazy because her boyfriend loved me like a son. He had other sons, but he loved me like a son. I remember him. We were at a house one time. He was drunk a lot too, but I remember us being at the back of the truck, and I worked for him at the time in concrete. And he said, "I love you, but you need to leave. You need to go and do something in life because this is not the life for you." I've always loved education, and like I've always had this level of English, and he's like, "You should be doing something else, not working in concrete." And so I was like, "That's crazy! Like for that guy to be telling me I shouldn't be there." But anyways.
Yeah.
My mom split up with him. I went to live with him for a little while when they split up. And I remember being in like sitting down on my butt with my legs between my legs moved up forward, and the water washing the concrete off and watching the concrete, just the dirty water roll into the drain, and saying, "I don't want to be 50 years old and doing this." And that's it. Like I left Ennis. Never look back. And somebody who's struggling with faith, what advice would you give to them if they're struggling with faith? Like they don't know what to do about
Like,
looking
they
for
don't
that.
know God at all, or they know God and
They don't know God at all.
I always see a lot of people think that Christians are crazy, but I think just don't seek after the religion in itself. If you seek after religion, every time you will be hurt and you will be disappointed, because religion is the whole man-made concept of Jesus Christ. So if you just seek God, it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to go to church on Sunday and, get this crazy prayer, but just if you know in your heart, just try it. Like, if you try it, I promise you, you're not going to want to go back, because there's been things that God has saved me from that, you can't explain to a non-believer. And so just don't seek after the whole man-made religion. Just seek after God. Just talk to him like you would a friend, even though it looks kind of weird talking to yourself, or so you think. But just, prayer's not complicated. Worshiping him isn't complicated. Just all of it will come to you naturally. It's like a muscle.
Okay.
So
Are you ready for a quiz question in terms of religion?
sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you real quick. I know I asked you earlier, but a scale of 1 to 10, how well versed are you biblically?
Biblically, I think I know a lot of, like, the basics.
Scale of 1 to 10.
7.
Okay.
Maybe?
And sometimes I mess up, but I have my
Encyclopedia.
encyclopedia over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
What are the 2 main laws of the Bible?
Love God. Love people. Yeah.
Were you were you not confident about the answer?
No, I was, but I just didn't know
You're
there was
just
a
like-
third one.
Okay.
That's where I was like,
I'm going to have to work to cut all that out and redo that right. Okay, the 2 main laws. I don't know. We did a whole thing about it. Yeah, so for me, and everybody to each their own, right? And what bothers, because I talk about, like, Longview has so many churches, right? But they don't operate in just the basic 2 main laws. Like, when the beauties about our church is we love everybody that walks through that door,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to walk into another church, I don't think that would happen.
Yeah.
They won't love every person that walks through that church. And I'm like, moment that I feel that,
Yeah.
that church is not even living up to the rest of what it's supposed to be doing. Like, you can be doing it, and then churches that add rules that aren't even biblical. Right? I'm like, that's so weird. But yeah.
And then that's the whole religion versus relationship.
yeah.
That's why the Bible calls us to have childlike faith. Kids aren't sitting here arguing with you about theology. Kids know Jesus is a cool dude,
Yeah.
that he does miracles, that he died for you and me, and that's all they care for.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like the Bible is so, talks about it so much, to be childlike in your faith.
Dealing with the group that I deal with, people think that I'm like Satan because I won't let them say what they want to say in terms of religion. But it goes back to that. Like,
Yeah.
if you would just love, like, you wouldn't even be arguing with me.
Yeah.
You just like
exactly.
love that person because they believe the way they want to believe.
Mhm.
'Cause that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and that kind of drives me almost in anything, and that I think that's part of being the success, and that's just one of the few things that make that thing a success is that even when people argue with me behind, like when in the messages and stuff, I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you, but
Yeah.
maybe this place isn't the place for you.
Mhm.
But I'm petty sometimes. I won't be that nice. But yeah.
Well,
But yeah.
I was thinking about this on Sunday. Just going back to Longview has so many churches. Driving out of church on a Sunday, I see so many cars, and I'm like, how much different would Longview be if every person that went to church on a Sunday actually acted out that way? Like in the sense of, I'm going to choose to love everyone today, even though they picked a fight with me on all things Longview. Because there's been times where I've had to, bite my tongue on all things Longview, especially about religion. Because the word hateful and Christian should never, ever go together. And
Right.
sadly, that's the world we live in where they go together. I
Right.
see the quote all the time, no hate like Christian love. And that's not something we should be. You know, that really hurts me to think that there's been imperfect humans, obviously, that have tainted, I guess, that term.
Yeah.
So that's just, you know, something I was thinking about. If we all loved people like Jesus does, how much different would life be?
Dude.
John
Don't
can
even
make
get
a
me
post
started.
on Facebook without getting hated.
Yeah. Don't even get me started, man. It's you know, I thought for a little while when I was doing certain things, I wanted to make a coalition, a religious coalition in Longview, like where a whole bunch, a group kind of, where all the churches could be involved, and we could do exponentially larger things together, right?
Yeah.
Putting aside our religious differences. And I'm told that's not a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Because, and you know, I mean, what would this church say over that church in terms of a certain belief? And I'm like, that's the whole problem. Like, dude, like,
Yeah.
like, and that's an underlying issue in general in culture, an underlying issue in religion. Like, we were just talking today, and Casey can clarify more for me, or that you were saying something about why is the world the way it is?
Oh, I was listening to a podcast, and this 98-year-old man, somebody asked him, you know, what happened to America? And he's like, you know, when I was growing up, we had parades for everything, you know, and company picnics, and everybody did everything together. And he's like, we don't have stuff like that anymore. Everybody's just so divided.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that I'm trying to do is going to like the art walk.
Yeah.
And taking photos of that, or even meeting somebody who really stands out to me and really promoting them online, and like saying, like kind of trying to create that community that is missing out of love. I think that's the thing that I want to show the most is for me is express love more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like I've had my time on earth to do everything else I need to do is just start loving people.
Yeah.
You know, just start loving people. And some people hate that. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like some people hate that you just want to be good to people. That's weird.
And that's biblical too.
Yeah.
Kindness leads to repentance.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. So one of the things I like to end this with is, and I'm gonna ask you individually, if today was your last day on earth, what advice would you give people? Or if today was your last day on earth, what advice would you give to humanity?
That same God that has all the power in the world is that same God that knows you on your good days and on your bad days. There's nothing you can do to make God love you less. There's nothing you can do to make God love you more.
Okay.
So even on your best suited days, Sundays, best whatever, he loves you equally as the next, you know, Monday when you're tired and maybe not dressed the best. So.
Are you always so positive?
No.
No.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you
Podcast.
another question here in a minute. And
She's not.
it's
You
probably-
should see her. You should have.
No, I have a temper. I have a really bad temper.
You should have seen her.
The very first time I think I met you, we were picking up a coffee machine, and
You were
looked at
there?
you. Yeah, I was
Yes, he
carrying
was
it.
there. He's the one that carried it.
You scared me.
You guys still need a piece. Y'all are missing a piece.
Yeah, well, just running it.
Why
I
did she
keep-
cuss y'all out?
No, she looked busy, and I was like, "Don't look at her. She's scared me."
No, you should have seen her like a couple of months ago when you were mad that I worked with you at the churros, and you were like, "Why did everybody wake up so happy and so full of life?"
There's
and I
this
was
Mexican.
Like,
There's this Mexican TikTok video. I'm asking you a question. The last question, and then I'm gonna close out. Are you happy?